This female Muslim thought she cooked because she said that Jesus drank sour wine. She basically was saying that Jesus lied, saying that he said that he wouldn't have a drink until after the crucifixion. But little did she know that she again was wrong. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button so this video can go out into the algorithm to people just like you, and it can help this channel grow. So yeah, let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about it. And I'm gonna go over to this live scene. So a lot of people know who Korra is. She's a female Muslim content creator, and she debated with two different Christians. And what I will say is there's parts of it that she's right, but yet she was still wrong. She was still wrong. And I'm gonna go over why she was wrong. So let me find the part they was talking. This is Life Rant's video, and we'll check it out.
Groups all acknowledging that this is a contradiction and saying either John was ignorant or that it wasn't Jesus that drank it.
Okay, cool. So you gotta
until that day where he.
So this is the scripture in Matthew 26:29, where they say, "But I say to you, I will not drink of this fruit of the vine from now on until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." That's what Jesus said. And she said that he lied. That's what she said. She said that he lied. Oh, boy. This is good.
He is in the kingdom. But then on the cross, they soak sour wine in a sponge and give it to Jesus. And after that, Jesus says, "It is finished." Now, they've been running this as a contradiction.
Correct.
Do you believe that Jesus was an honest man?
Yes.
He never uttered any lies whatsoever.
No.
Okay, can you open up Matthew 26?
Say to you, I will not drink of its fruit of the vine from now on until the day when I drink it with you new in my Father's kingdom.
Open up John 19.
You about to get
You ready to get
absolutely
BTA? Perfect. After this, knowing that everything had now been accomplished and to fulfill the scripture, Jesus said, "I am thirsty." A jar of sour wine was sitting there, so they soaked a sponge in the wine and put it on a stalk of hyssop and lifted it to his mouth. And when Jesus had received the sour wine, he said, "It is finished." Bowing his head, he yielded up his spirit. So Jesus says that he's not going to drink wine until he is united with the 12 in his Father's kingdom.
Well, let's see how she handles me.
Okay, so here, I'll tell you why it's not a valid argument. Is
Not a valid argument whatsoever. And I'm going to break down why it's not. But first, let me get my prop because this is very important. So I got my prop, and we're gonna go over this, y'all. This is good. This is good.
Is grape juice wine?
Grape juice is what you use to make wine. Yeah,
Right, exactly. So what turns grape juice into wine?
it's fermented, right? I don't
Yeast,
know.
right?
I don't know. I don't know how wine is made, to be honest. But I think it's just, yeah, it's fermented.
Yeah, yeast and other ingredients as well too, which then turns it into wine.
Okay.
So if I go buy a bottle of wine, you wouldn't say that I'm drinking grape juice, right?
If you, no, yeah, sure,
Right, but grape juice was used to make wine.
right.
Okay, so the same way that you're not going to call a bottle of wine grape juice, even though grape juice was fermented and turned into wine because of a chemical change, is the same reason why you can't call vinegar wine, because it's the same process happening on both liquid substances.
No, but that's presuming that it is vinegar, right?
It is vinegar. Sour wine is vinegar. That's literally what vinegar means. That's the definition.
So why would they make him drink vinegar? That doesn't make sense.
In French, vinegar literally means sour wine.
Okay, but why are they making him drink vinegar if he's saying he's
because
thirsty?
It's a prophecy in Psalm 69.
To drink vinegar? What's the prophecy in Psalm 69?
Okay, now I want you guys to pay very close to what is about to happen. She's asking me, why would they make him drink vinegar? Watch what happens when I give her the prophecy in Psalm 69, verse 21. Watch what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
What verse?
Yeah, Psalms 60. Yeah.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
What verse?
Psalm 69, verse 21.
They also gave me alcohol for my food, and for my thirst, they gave me vinegar to drink. They say vinegar.
Watch what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
What verse?
Yeah, Psalms 69, I believe, verse 21.
I used to say, if I hear AI one more time, I'm going to
bro,
lose
I
it.
ain't
But
seen the
Monday.com is super.
All right, let me see. Psalm 69:21. They put gall in my food and gave me vinegar for my thirst. Oh, wow. This is silly. Okay.
How is it silly? It's a prophecy. I just showed you.
Yeah, but the word that's being used here doesn't necessitate vinegar. If it was vinegar, they would have said it's vinegar.
So as you can see, she clearly sees that I'm right about it being a prophecy.
Vinegar.
And she tries to giggle it off. That's clearly the nervous laugh that I didn't really just refute you, but I proved to you that what I was saying is right, that he was served vinegar and not wine. Now, this is clearly someone who doesn't want to see the truth. Obviously, I mean, the live is at 600. It goes up to about 1,000. And so she's most likely not going to concede to her audience because it will give them shubuha. They'll start to get doubts. Now, I want you to pay attention to this comment as well. It says, I speak French and this ninja just made it up. Well, sir, if you speak French, well, then what is this right here?
Why vinegar means sour wine in French? It's an English word. Vinegar comes directly from the Old French vinaigre, which means sour wine. This compound is made of two simple French words: vin, meaning wine, gueule, meaning sour, sharp, and bitter. When combined, vinaigrette describes wine that has gone sour. The acidic bacteria converting the alcohol in wine into acetic acid. This process called acidification changes the taste from sweet to sharp and tangy. That's true. I mean, bro, what is this? Muslim, what is this? It's apple cider vinegar. You wouldn't say this is wine. Like, if I drink this, I'm not gonna get drunk. This is vinegar, bro. Like, this is not wine. Okay. Now, before that became that, it was wine. All right. So it's crazy, and this is it get crazier.
You guys got to stop just saying anything.
Necessitate vinegar. If it was vinegar, they would have said it's vinegar.
That's what vinegar is,
No,
sour wine.
okay.
You can also make
That's not what I
vinegar
mean.
out of
That's-
apples. You can also make vinegar out of a lot of things. Sour wine turns into vinegar due to bacteria and oxygen.
Okay.
Bam!
She's here. There you go.
Yo.
Yes, it's
You go.
transformed
Yo, Life,
into vinegar.
Are you talking smack, Life?
What?
Yeah.
Who am I talking smack to?
It's a question, not an assertion.
Nah.
Life, it's a question. You talking smack about the
No,
argument?
I'm not talking smack. I'm answering. I'm just refuting your sour wine argument.
All right, so bro, just be honest. Did Duran hit you up and be like, "They got me, man. They got me. Did Duran hit you up? Be honest.
Nah, he saw the clips, man.
Nah.
He saw the video. He saw it live.
Nah, I saw.
100% did. 100%.
All right. So Korra so Itachi has already agreed that grape juice isn't wine. Do you agree?
Grape juice in and of itself?
Yeah, grape juice isn't wine, right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So why isn't grape juice wine when grape juice is used to create wine?
Okay, beautiful, because you believe that wine is intoxicating, correct?
Of course.
You believe that wine is fermented,
Yo, beautiful. Like she finna really cook.
correct?
Mhm.
Fermented grape juice. So it goes through the process of, fermentation. It's fermented.
Right, and it goes through a chemical change, which turns it
Yeah.
into wine, right?
Exactly, yep. So I have a question.
Which is
Did the
why if I grab
Yeah,
a
wait, hold on. I'm in the middle of speaking. Did the oxos in John 19 verses 29 and 30 go through the process of fermentation? Yes or no?
well, when it's called sour wine, that's what it is.
It's a yes. So
It's
it
in
went
the, it's
through.
it's in the name.
Okay, perfect. So it went through the process of fermentation, the exact same process that wine goes through, except the reason why it was sour is because it was over fermented. So I'm going to give you an example, right? If I leave out a cup of milk and I leave it on my desk and I allow for it to spoil and then I drink it, am I still drinking milk?
You're drinking spoiled milk.
Perfect. So if Jesus drinks over fermented wine or vinegar, he is still drinking wine. Thank you very much, Life. That's
No.
Oh, he's
No.
not.
No.
No, he's not. But the crazy part is, and I hate to say this. I think my boy Life kind of got it wrong here too. But they're both wrong. And I wish he would have pointed this out. And I'm going to explain what he should have pointed out, okay? But we're gonna get to that. Just hold on. I got some for y'all to point out what Jesus really meant. Okay.
Oh my
Ba,
gosh.
ba, ba.
Okay, so this part is embarrassing. I don't know what all the I don't know what all that's about. Let me read y'all something. Why it's no longer milk. By definition, milk is a nutrient-rich liquid with a specific composition and sensory profile. Spoilage changes its chemical structure, flavor, and appearance, so it no longer matches the fresh product. Even if it still contains lactose and fat, the microbial and enzymatic activity have transformed it into a different substance, often thickened, sour, and potentially unsafe to drink. Now you tell me which one is milk and which one is not.
All right. So here comes the
Fries
response.
back.
So you gotta let me respond now. Okay.
Yeah, you can respond. Good.
All right. So what is wine? Wine is alcohol, correct?
Yes, it's fermented to the point in which it is, I guess you can say, alcoholic. Sure.
Right. So when you get vinegar, what percentage of alcohol is in vinegar after it becomes sour wine and goes through a chemical change and becomes vinegar? What
Yeah,
percentage of alcohol is left in vinegar?
So if you're speaking about the type of wine vinegar that we have today, you can say that it would be around like 1-2%, maybe even less, right? So not intoxicating. However,
And I just want to point out too, like Life is right when it come down to like explaining the difference between wine and vinegar. Like he's totally right. But again, we're gonna go over what Jesus meant because this is what I wanted to really point out. It's like very important.
the oxos that is spoken about in John 19 is still being utilized for pleasure purposes, right? We have other instances within Roman history where Roman soldiers use this as a cheap alternative to expensive wine, and they
And she's right. She's right about that part.
use it for pleasure. So they don't use it as, oh, wine vinegar. No, this is literally just wine for poor people. It's over fermented, right? So I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah, so you
If
gotta
I
let me
have a
respond.
Wait, I'm
You gotta let me
talking
respond
now.
first, though.
Wait, I'm in the middle of talking though, right? So
Yeah, but you made a statement and now you want to ask a question. I have to respond to that.
yeah, that's
Yes,
how
she
we
can do that.
do a
She can do that, and
dialogue.
then you can respond in full.
That's how we do a dialogue, yeah. And I'm gonna let you respond in full. So oxos is used as a cheap alternative to expensive wine that is sweet. And the reason why they are capable of getting it at cheaper prices is because it's over fermented and it's sour in comparison to expensive wine. So you already agreed that if an individual drinks, for example, spoiled milk, it doesn't take away from the fact that they drink milk. So if Jesus drank over fermented wine, or as you want to deem vinegar, then he still drank wine, and he broke the promise in Matthew 26. Would you agree or disagree?
No,
He did not break the promise at all. He did not break the promise at all. She's so dumb.
he didn't break the promise because he didn't drink wine. And this is the reason why. Brother, I gotta speak, man. And this is the reason why I asked you earlier, is grape juice wine? And you said no. But for some reason, when wine goes through the same process and becomes vinegar, all of a sudden you still want to say that it is wine. It is not wine because it goes through a process which chemically changes the liquid. That's why it's transformed into an acidic liquid. It is no longer wine, which is the reason why it goes through a chemical change. That's why it's not wine, Korra. So now, when you hold on, I let you speak. So now, when you look at vinegar and you see that it has gone through that process, the reason why you get the word sour wine is because that's what vinegar means. But that does not mean that it is that alcoholic beverage that is being spoken of in the Bible, which Jesus says he is not going to drink. That's what you're not getting.
Okay, perfect. So this is exactly why I brought up the word oxos, and I'm speaking about the traditional usage of the word. Because what we understand to be vinegar today, or vinegar that is derived from wine, is that it went through a fermentation process to the point in which the majority of its alcohol content is gone, right? With oxos, that's not the case, because oxos is still intoxicating and it has that property that wine has. The only distinction is that it is sour in comparison. So you would agree that wine vinegar, the vinegar that we deem today, you would say that it's not intoxicating, correct? The alcohol content is not enough for you to be intoxicated by it. You would agree, correct?
Of course, if it's less than 1%, I highly doubt it'll be intoxicating.
I agree with that. The issue is oxos does not have that level of fermentation to the point in which that alcohol content is almost completely and utterly diminished, right?
And what is the evidence for that?
Yeah, so if you actually study the usage of this Greek term, and there's a reason why academic scholarship agrees that this is actually a contradiction, and the way that they reconcile it is they just say that John was ignorant to the promise that Jesus made in Matthew, because they agree that the conventional usage of the term oxos is a drink that Roman soldiers would use as a cheap alternative to expensive wine. So let's say, for example, I wanted expensive wine and I don't have the money to do it. I would get oxos because I can get it at cheaper rates, and it would have a similar effect, but it would not taste as good. This is what scholarship says about the word. You can look at a multitude of different Greek lexicons that speak about this. Some of them say that it was a drink that was used to diminish the pain that you derive from crucifixion. Some of them say that it was popular amongst Roman soldiers because it was a cheap, low-grade form of wine. So the alcohol content was lessened, but it was not diminished to the point of wine vinegar that we deem today. And the reason why I even brought up this argument against Duran is because I wanted to get into the crucifixion. Right, I want to speak about the crucifixion with Duran, because what's so interesting is that the Basilidians, the individuals that believe that Simon of Cyrene was crucified, use these verses to prove that it wasn't Jesus, because they said that Jesus is an honest man. And if Jesus was an honest man and a man that was on the cross drank the sour wine, then the man that was put on the cross was not Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So how do you reconcile all of
She don't know what she's talking about, but we're gonna skip to it.
If
'cause
you're
she
struggling with
clearly
depression
don't know
and
what
not
she's
feeling
talking
the
about.
comfort and peace that you need, I invite you to meet with missionaries like me from the church.
this passage to be an evidence against?
Korra,
Wait, I'm asking you a
look
question.
up.
I want to go to the part where her friend literally says
Is sour wine wine? Yes or no?
Korra,
And
Oh,
it's
that's a good
yes
question.
or no. It's yes or no.
No, it ain't
Is
no straight
oxos-
dichotomy. No.
Wait, it's straight dichotomy and then explanation. Straight
Bro, what?
dichotomy and then explanation, not just straight dichotomy. Oxos, the
This is bad.
word that's used in John 19,
Oh my
is
goodness.
oxos or the vinegar or the sour wine? Is it a type of wine? Yes or no?
What? What?
Is oxos a type of wine? Is oxos a type of wine?
Okay, sure. Let me fall into your trap. Sure. Because
Answer
okay,
honestly.
now I get to expound, right?
Yeah, oxos
Yeah,
is
say
a
yes
type
or
of
no,
wine.
and then
Oh my
answer.
goodness.
That's
Can
what
I
she said.
Say yes or no and then
do
explain.
I
yes.
said yes. Now
Yes.
can I expound?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
What are you laughing at? Like,
No, go ahead,
okay,
extend.
so
Apparently, Korra doesn't understand that you can use the word type to mean a form something can take through transformation. Here's why it's not good to cheer and laugh when you ask someone a yes or no question and think that you won before they started to explain. Let me give you a clear example. The fermenting wine is indicative of a process that turns it into vinegar. Vinegar is a type of wine if you're classifying it by what it's made from rather than what it is now. Vinegar is a type of wine in the sense that it comes from wine that has undergone a chemical change. There's nothing wrong with me answering her question honestly, but you must add the context. Historically, it was called sour wine because it has turned. So, in that sense, you can say it's a type of wine that has been chemically altered, making it vinegar. But she wants me to answer yes or no because she wants to try to trap me, in which it's not gonna work.
Okay, if it's
Talking about
made from
apples.
if sour wine, if all vinegar is not sour wine, then you agree that oxos is indicative of a type of wine that is over fermented, thus making it still wine, and the point is still being conceded.
Did you guys catch that? I told you. She's referring to the original substance used before it was transformed or chemically altered. This is the reason why I answered her quote unquote trap yes, and now I'm going to expound and cook her.
So vinegar is wine that went through a chemically altering change, which is why the term sour wine means vinegar and vinegar means sour wine, because the wine was chemically altered into another liquid acidic substance. This is why we cannot have this discussion without the word wine. So when wine goes through a chemical change via bacteria and oxygen, it turns into vinegar, which makes it no longer wine. That's why you can still use the word wine and sound like it's wine, but it's not. Wine has to be in play in order to get vinegar, which means sour wine.
Sorry, you're repeating yourself now. That's all you want
I
to say?
mean, I have to, because she don't
Yeah,
get
you
it.
have
Alright,
you have a minute, so
That's
it's
it,
fine.
that's
You
all?
had a minute, so it's okay.
You're good? Alright, go ahead.
Alright, now
Let Korra get her
that
last
was
minute.
it. I appreciate
and this
y'all.
is the wrap up. All right, and this
All right,
is
go
the
ahead.
wrap up.
For sure.
So, with your answer, yes, you conceded the whole argument. Because as long as you say that oxos is a type of wine,
Lord,
you agree that Jesus drank wine. And if you agree that Jesus drank wine, even if it's not the exact same type of wine that he was drinking at the Last Supper, you agree that Jesus broke his promise from Matthew
break
26.
his promise.
This is exact, and your example, we're gonna make an example out of you today, life. You are the reason why academic scholars
She's so dumb. He did not break his promise. So weird.
agrees that these two passages cannot be harmonized, and they just say that John was ignorant. You are a prime example of why the Basilidians rejected the crucifixion of your God and said that it was Simon of Cyrene. You and people like you are the reason why they don't believe in your primary doctrine of salvation, that they were saved through that
Listen,
life.
to be
So
fair,
you
Life.
conceded.
To be fair, Life.
Nice,
She kind
nice.
of got you on the scholarship end. You're appealing to your self fallacy type thing, okay, ma'am?
Yeah, I can quote
Listen, go
people who say,
FaceTime Deron. Go FaceTime Deron.
look, if
Be
grape
like,
juice
listen, she
isn't
cooked me
wine,
too. It's
wine
all right,
isn't
bro. It's
vinegar.
all right. It's all good. She
If
cooked me
grape juice
too.
isn't
She
wine,
got
wine
me too.
isn't
Let's
vinegar.
bond
You
over
guys
it,
got
Duran.
cooked.
Let's bond over it.
If
Listen,
grape
she
juice
don't bring
isn't
scholarship
wine,
to Deron because it don't matter to him.
if,
Yeah,
if,
go ahead.
if grape juice isn't wine, wine isn't vinegar. You already cooked yourself by conceding that point. You guys already cooked yourself.
Quick question, bro. Is Jesus
They
fully God?
both go through the same chemically altering changes that alters the
perfect. So,
liquid.
wait,
I like how he not letting this dude talk. Like, nah, bro, sit down.
hold on. Like,
You cooked
Itachi said
yourself.
this conversation is over. So, TMA has a question.
Just not. I just have one question.
A grape juice is no longer wine
TMA has a
No,
question.
no.
when grape juice is used, but vinegar is still wine
Life,
somehow.
stop crashing out. It's okay.
No,
You
but
and Duran are
there
gonna
is
bond
a
over this on
How did I
between the two.
crash out?
No, there is
Yeah,
a
it's okay.
difference between the two. Let Tim ask his question though.
Dude.
There is
She said there is a difference between the two.
Yeah,
there
it's
is a
okay.
difference between the two. Let Tim ask his question though.
Dude.
There is
Yeah,
a
it's okay.
difference between the two. Let Tim ask his question. There is
Yeah,
a
it's okay.
difference between the two. Let Tim ask his question though.
Dude.
There is
Yeah,
a
it's okay.
difference between the two. Let Tim ask his question though.
Man, I love when the
Love
Muslims
it.
end up cooking their own sisters for me. Notice what she said at the end before the conversation ended. She said, yes, they are two different types of substances.
There is
Yeah,
a
it's okay.
difference between the two. Let Tim ask his question though.
Let's move on. Thank you.
Oh man, that was good, Life. Um, so this is why I said it is like he was right partially, but part of it like he was wrong, and there's a reason why. I'm gonna show y'all. Man, I got this allergy thing going on. This kind of sucks. Okay. So, um, we're going to Chat GPT. I always say GB, but GPT. And I know y'all probably can't see this as clearly, but I'll read it. So I said, what is apple cider vinegar made of? Like, we're gonna break it down. We're gonna break this all down. So it say apple cider vinegar is made of apples that go through a two-step fermentation process. Here what it contains, how it's made. So it's made of apple, yeast, and bacteria, which is acetate, acetobacteria, and is made of crushing the apple. The first fermentation is the alcoholic stage, right? The alcohol stage, which is yeast converts the natural sugar into apple juice. I mean, sugar in apple juice into alcohol, creating a hard apple cider. Then the second fermentation is the acid stage. This is when bacteria convert the alcohol into an acidic acid, which gives vinegar a strong smell and sour taste. So that is what apple cider vinegar is. That just kind of lets you know what it is. Okay, I said, is it wine before it turns into vinegar? It said yes, briefly become alcoholic beverage before turning to vinegar, right? I said, was it wine or vinegar that uh I don't know why I say juice. I should say Jesus, but was it wine or vinegar that Jesus drank before dying? They said it was wine, right? Not vinegar. And what the gospel described, the crucifixion of gospel, like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Jesus offered something called sour wine, sometimes translate as vinegar. What that actually was, the drink was likely pa- Pascha, a common Roman drink. Like Korra said, all right. So the first beginning of what we were talking about in Chat GPT, life was right. The second part of this, Core was right about, okay, like it's a common Roman drink made of cheap wine that had sour, mixed with water, sometimes herbs, used by soldiers. She's right. It started as wine alcoholic. It had turned sour acidic, which is why it translate some translate say vinegar. So it had turned sour and acidic. So it was wine. Simple answer. It wasn't pure vinegar like modern apple cider vinegar. It was sour wine. Basically wine that had gone acidic. That what it say. Was Jesus lying about not drinking wine until he died? Short answer, no. There's no indication Jesus was lying. The gospel account shows two different moments with two different purposes. Uh what Jesus actually said at the Last Supper, Jesus said he would not drink again of the fruit of the vine until God's kingdom come. That usually understood as a vow about celebratory wine, pointing forward to a future fulfillment. So, what happened on the cross? Early on, he offered wine mixed with something to dull pain. He refused it in Mark 15:23 and Matthew 27:34. Near the end, he offered sour wine, often translated vinegar, likely a cheap soldier drink called Posca, and taste and receive it in John 19:29 through 30 and Luke 23 to 36. Now, why this isn't a contradiction? Why Jesus was not lying? Different kinds of drinking. His vow is about drinking wine in a normal celebratory sense. This small taste of sour wine on the cross isn't a return to feasting. It is a part of the crucifixion scene. Some see it as moistening his mouth to speak his final words. This is what this she want to talk about scholars. Scholars see it as it's to moisten his mouth so he could speak his final word. Timing and fulfillment. Many Christians read his final moment as the completion of his mission, not a breaking of the promise. Bottom line, Jesus didn't break his word. The passage described different context and intention, not a deception. So that what that was. So that one, yeah, he had sour wine. It wasn't even nowhere near. Okay, even if it was okay, wine. You want to say wine? It's not the same type of wine that Jesus was talking about. It's not the same type of wine that Jesus was drinking at the Passover, at the Last Supper. It wasn't the same wine. Like that's crazy. He was not drinking. It is not the same wine, and it did when he was with them. He was celebrating. This wasn't this right here. This wasn't his vow is about drinking wine in a normal celebratory sense. This wasn't a normal celebratory sense. Yes, I like him dying on the cross. Yes, we celebrate that, but this was not what he was talking about. Like he didn't drink the same type of wine. This was also sour wine, which they say vinegar, right? So what she's still wrong. Like at the end of the day, she's still wrong, bro. Like that is crazy. She's like, "Oh, it's wine, it's wine. Well, it's still wine." But that ain't what Jesus was talking about. Like, I don't. These Muslims they try to pick at every little thing, and this is why it go over their heads so much because they think they got it all figured out and they don't. You know, this is what the devil do. The devil do the same thing. He did the same thing. He tried to do the same thing with Jesus. When Jesus was throwing scripture right back at him. The Muslim is just taking in all this stuff from the enemy. Korra, you need to study more. You need to study more because you're totally wrong. You are totally wrong. And life, you know, he was right on that part about the vinegar part. Like, you know, this this is not wine. This is vinegar. That was a type of wine, but that was sour wine. It wasn't like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's wine. But it ain't the exact same wine Jesus was talking about. He was at the Last Supper. Those are not the same type of wine. This is not. So that's why life went into the vinegar part. Like I get what he was saying, and I wouldn't say he's like 100% like wrong, but I wouldn't have taken that approach. I would have like broke it down like what we saw in that. But with that being said, make sure y'all like this video, man. My allergies is kicking my butt. Make sure you subscribe. That's all we do on here. We react to videos, looking at it from a Christian lens. We look at a lot of debates. Debates have been like the hot topic on this channel. People love it. People are subscribing. And I'm getting to talk with Muslim in here in the comment section. They like to talk crazy, but hey, it's all love at the end of the day. Still love y'all. Y'all, you know, y'all are still human. You know, y'all just we just believe in two different things, bro. And I believe in the truth. Y'all, what y'all believe in is false. So with that being said, man, I hope y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.